She just stole Grandma's bracelet. Check her bag! Check it now. That was my mother's voice. Hysterical, loud, and sharp enough to silence the entire room. 1 second, I was hugging my niece goodbye. The next, I had people closing in, my cousin already reaching for my purse. If you've ever had someone try to ruin your name in front of your whole family, hit that subscribe button and tell me where you're watching from. This one's for anyone who's ever been gaslit by their own blood. My name is Lila. I'm 31 and a first-grade teacher. And this is the story of the day that changed everything. Mother's Day, May 12th, 2024. It was supposed to be brunch at my mom's place, just like every year. My siblings and I show up with food, gifts, and hugs. But that Sunday turned into a public ambush. And it didn't come out of nowhere. This has been brewing for a long time. Growing up, I always felt like I had to earn love in that house. My older brother Marcus could do no wrong. My younger sister Camille was the golden child, always protected, always praised. Me? I was the one with attitude. Like this one time, I was 11 and saved up $63 walking my neighbor's dog every afternoon. I used it to buy Mom a silver locket for her birthday, engraved with our initials. She opened it, gave it a glance, and said, "Oh, did you keep the receipt?" Meanwhile, Marcus gave her a card he clearly picked up from the Walgreens near the freeway. Still smelled like those scented candles they burn in the checkout line. And she started tearing up, saying he was so thoughtful, Camille. She once gave her a picture of a flower made out of cotton balls when she was 15. Mom framed it. Then there was prom. I worked at a bookstore all semester to afford my dress. Showed it to her giddy. She pursed her lips and asked if I was trying to look fast. Camille wore the same dress in red the next year. Suddenly it was elegant, but the moment it really shifted, like tectonic plates under a house already full of cracks, was when Grandma Edie passed in 2022. She'd lived 3 blocks away and basically raised me when Mom was still partying in her rebellious 30s. Grandma. Edie always said, "Lila, I may not have much to leave you all, but the bracelet is yours. The bracelet, rose gold, delicate, with 6 tiny sapphires." She said it was her mother's. I grew up stopping by her place after school and watching her take it off before washing dishes. It was our symbol. It meant something. When she passed, I wasn't in the will, not officially. None of us grandkids were. Everything was verbal. But I remembered our talks. Mom took the bracelet for safekeeping. That was 22 months ago. I asked about it once last summer. "You really think I don't know how to divide things fairly?" She snapped. "Don't worry about it, Lila. You'll get your turn. I'm your mother." That was my cue to shut up. On Mother's Day 2024, I showed up at Mom's house at exactly 10:32 a.m. I remember because I had texted Camille I was running late. My car battery had died the night before. I Ubered there, carrying a homemade brunch box with banana bread, frittata squares, and jasmine tea I knew she liked. Camille arrived 10 minutes later with orange roses. Marcus and his wife Julia were already there. Everything seemed normal. At first, we ate outside like we always do, folding chairs around that long glass table she only brings out for holidays. The kids ran around with bubbles. Music played low from one of those Bluetooth cube speakers that never really connects on the first try. At 12:15 p.m., Mom brought out a red velvet box and made a whole show of it. "This," she said, holding it in the sunlight, "was your grandmother's. And today, I'm finally ready to pass it on." My heart kicked up. For a second, I thought maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe she remembered, but she handed it to Camille. Everyone clapped. Camille gasped like she was in an infomercial. "Oh my God, Mom, it's stunning," she said. "Are you sure?" "Of course," Mom said. "You've done so much for me this year." I blinked. "Done so much?" Camille's been finding herself since she turned 27. She didn't even come to Grandma's funeral. She was in Costa Rica on some yoga/surf retreat. I got up to walk inside. My face was burning, and I didn't trust it. 10 minutes later, Mom came in after me. "I knew you'd make this about you," she said, not even waiting for me to speak. "I didn't say anything," I told her. She crossed her arms. "You've always been so entitled when it comes to her," she said. "It's just a bracelet, Lila." I looked her dead in the eye. She gave that to me. Not in a will, I get that. But she said it every year since I was 7. "You know that," Mom shrugged. "Well, she's gone. I'm still here. Don't make me regret inviting you." The word inviting echoed in my brain. Like I was some outsider. I didn't eat much after that. At around 2:20 p.m., I packed my stuff, said goodbye to my nieces and nephews, then hugged Camille. When I turned to pick up my purse off the patio chair, everything changed. "Stop!" Mom screamed. Then, "She just stole the bracelet. Check her bag! Check it now!" People froze. I stood there stunned while Marcus's wife reached toward my bag. I snatched it first and opened it myself. Sitting right on top of my wallet was the red velvet box. I didn't put it there. I swear on my life I didn't. The flurry started immediately. "She wouldn't," Camille started, then looked at me. Or would she? Marcus backed away and pulled out his phone. "You serious right now?" he asked me. "This is low, Lila." "No," I said. "No. Someone put that in there." "I never touched it." "Are you calling your mother a liar?" he asked. My hands were shaking as I put the box on the table. I'm calling this whole thing a setup. And that's when Julia, the last person I expected, spoke. "We have cameras. Everyone turned." "What?" Mom said. "We installed 2 Nest cams last month," Julia said. "For the kids. One's right there above the patio." Time stopped. Mom blanched. "I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding," she muttered, but I wasn't letting this ride. Later that evening, I met with Julia and Marcus at their house. We pulled the footage on a TV screen around 8:40 p.m. At 1:58 p.m., after most people were picking at dessert, Mom walked into the house. My purse was inside on the kitchen stool. At 2:01 p.m., she walked out and sat at the table, empty-handed. At 2:03 p.m., you see her excuse herself. At 2:05 p.m., she walks back out with the red velvet box. I paused the video. Stared. "I didn't want to believe this," Julia said softly. "But there it is." Marcus looked uncomfortable. He asked, "What do you want to do?" And that's when I rolled out Operation Clear My Name. I already had a notepad. Date, May 12th, 2024. Location, 487 Riverview Lane. Characters, Mom, me, witnesses. I made a list. Review all camera. Footage. Screenshot timestamps. Write, an affidavit with sequence of events. Talk to a lawyer. Maybe defamation case. Fee. Send email to siblings with footage link. Julia backed me. She even helped draft the email. Camille left the group chat that night. At 11:12 p.m., I got a text from Mom. "We need to talk. You're blowing this way out of proportion." I didn't reply. The next morning, I called Mr. Langston, my friend Natalie's stepdad. He's a retired litigator who now does consultation. He reviewed everything and said, "This may not be criminal unless the bracelet's worth over $1,000, but you can send a cease and desist. What she said qualifies as slander if you can prove it was false and harmful." I asked if I could. "You're a teacher, right?" he asked me. "You work with kids. This kind of accusation does hurt your reputation." He helped me draft a formal notice, certified mail, signed and stamped. I sent it on May 14th. Included 6 screenshots from the camera, printed in color labeled with timestamps down to the second. 4 days later, I got a typed response. No lawyer stamp, just her. It read, "I apologize if there was confusion. Emotions run high on family days. I consider the matter closed. No signature. No accountability. Nope," I whispered out loud. "It doesn't end with a bad apology." That Friday, I met with Aunt Patrice. She's the only sibling of Mom's still in town, and Grandma Edie's best friend. She watched the footage on my phone. "Didn't blink. Oh, honey," she said. "She's been like this since we were kids. She always gets jealous when attention leaves her. Your grandma knew this. That's why she used to say the bracelet is yours." "Then why didn't she put it in writing?" I asked. "Because she thought blood would behave better than strangers." Clearly, she was wrong. Aunt Patrice told me one more thing. The bracelet? Appraised in 2017 for $2,800. She had a photocopy of the letter from the jeweler in Peoria. That put it above the $1,000 criminal threshold. On May 22nd, I went to the Springfield County Sheriff's Department. Filed a report for property tampering and slander, attaching both the footage and the appraisal letter. I didn't expect her to get arrested. But I needed an official record. My friend Aaron said it best when I was venting over takeout. People treat your reputation like a rug because for so long, you let them walk on it. He was right. I posted a photo of the bracelet, not on my wrist, just on a table, on my private Instagram with the caption, "Don't let someone bury you in their guilt. Especially not with your own inheritance." I tagged no one. 5 minutes later, Camille texted, "Was that necessary?" I replied, "Yes." A full week after the report, I got a call. Detective Miniver said they had reviewed the footage and wanted to speak with Mom. 2 days later, I got a missed call from her. Then 6 more. Then a text. "How could you do this to your own mother? You want me to go to jail over a bracelet?" I didn't reply, but I saved the messages. On June 9th, we met at the sheriff's office, in separate rooms. She came with no lawyer. I brought Aunt Patrice for moral support. Detective Miniver met with her first. 15 minutes later, he called me in. "She admits to moving the bracelet," he said. "Said she panicked when she realized she gave it to the wrong daughter." That was a lie, but okay. He handed me a copy of the statement. It read, "I placed the bracelet in Lila's bag thinking she would appreciate it. I didn't mean to accuse her of stealing. Emotions got ahead of me. That was the moment I knew. I had to take this all the way. I told Detective Miniver I didn't want her arrested. But I did want the item formally transferred and my name cleared within the family." He nodded. 4 days later, something surreal happened. Mom invited everyone over for a makeup dinner. Yeah, after all that, I came, dressed like professionalism itself. Navy slacks, blazer, neat bun. She stood before all of us, read the statement, and gave back the bracelet. No emotion. Like a robot. What you saw on Mother's Day was confusion and mistakes. I regret how it looked. I said nothing. Just opened my folder, removed a notarized letter, and handed it to each sibling. It read, "I, Lila Monroe, I am hereby documenting receipt of Edie Carter's sapphire bracelet, gifted June 17, 2024, with acknowledgement of its full value transferred to avoid any future dispute." She glared at that. I didn't care. After dessert, my 6-year-old niece Danny waddled over, looked at the bracelet on my wrist, and said, "It looks better on you anyway. You're the only one Grandma actually liked. That kid gets it." 6 months later, things have changed. I don't go to Sunday dinners anymore. Camille still hasn't spoken to me beyond emojis. Marcus and Julia apologized. Marcus even sent me a Venmo for $55 with the note, "Sorry for doubting you and for touching your purse." Mom still texts twice a month. Usually vague things like, "Hope you're eating well," or "Thinking of you." I keep my replies short, respectful, emotion-free. But the bracelet? It stays in my little rosewood box now. I wear it maybe once a month. Clean it often. It's not just jewelry. It's proof that even when they try to rewrite the story, the receipts hold. And so does your name. Boundaries are love with a spine. Don't confuse guilt with loyalty. If you've ever had to fight for truth, tell me where you're watching from and hit subscribe. This one's for all of us reclaiming what's ours.